Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Nerd Consultant's professionally unprofessional video game podcast. Thank you, Elliot, for the title suggestion.
You're welcome. I am God.
Joining me, obviously, is my very good friend Elliot and my very good friend Reese.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, Septograms?
So,
I've been playing Year of the Tokyo. I've been playing Year of the World Ends with you. It's so good.
I'm just surprised you didn't introduce by saying, "Greetings, sheeple of Shibuya."
Actually, I was kind of tempted to go 07734.
So,
let me have remote today about one scene. Anyway, come on.
So, the first company to really come out before Tokyo Game Show was PlayStation. We watched the presentation last night. There was a hell of a build-up to it, because a lot of insiders were saying this is one to watch.
Yeah, because it was actually going to focus on the PS5 for once.
Yeah, that is an interesting decision, all things considered. Okay, so we're kind of coming at this from a bit of a different position than when we watched the State of Play a couple of months ago, because we were saying Sony position is not great right now. And then somehow it got worse.
Yeah.
As soon as Microsoft announced all their exclusives, Sony didn't have much to fire back with.
Yeah, I think Sony not really having much of a presence at E3 was definitely a factor into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sony have really underestimated the power of going to E3 and what you can get by going to E3. So, I mean, I went into it hoping for some good stuff, but I knew nothing big was coming before Horizon, which got dated at Gamescom. So, I mean, what are you guys going in hoping for?
I was just hoping to see that we'll get some news from Insomniac, considering how much of a streak they've been on recently.
Boy, have we ever.
The main thing I was hoping for, really the only thing I predicted, which I got completely wrong, was Resident Evil 8 DLC.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. I mean, if I don't know when Capcom's planning to do that one, but
I guess from what I'm guessing that if we haven't gotten like anything from that so far, it likely means they're working really hard on it. Like, I'm expecting some stuff on the level of Resident Evil 7 DLC at this point.
I mean, if we're going on that logic as well, I mean, what's going on with RE-verse? Because we watched the Capcom show, and it was saying, oh, it's coming out in July, and then suddenly they say, no, it's coming out in 2022 now. How big of a hit is it that mere weeks before release, you delay it by a year?
Well, from what we saw, that gameplay was really rough.
Oh, yeah, it was actually cool.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe they decide to add more stuff into it, who knows? Or maybe they just underestimate the workload it will be.
I mean, it could. I'm more going on Elliot's case on this one. I think he's right on this one. I think they underestimated what they had to do. So the thing kicked off. They actually had a pretty cool, if confusing, introduction with a whole sort of chess thing.
Hipsters everywhere.
That was a weird introduction.
Yeah, it makes me think. It just made me think. Oh, so this was like in Harley Quinn's mind minus the Joker. So Harley Quinn's mind and Birds of Prey. Dope.
So then Jim Ryan comes out. I basically get very annoyed because he's kind of a big part of Sony's decline in recent memory. And he basically kicks off saying we're going to get a ton of games in this thing. And they kick off with the first trailer, which Reese sort of got very quickly because he's very versed in Star Wars Extended Universe knowledge. They've announced that Aspyr are making, I think that's how you pronounce that studio's name. They're making a from the ground up remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a remaster, it's completely from the bottom up, all new assets, all new everything.
Can I just say, this is almost like, reminds me a bit of like when the first DLC fighter for Smash Bros. Was Joker from Persona 5. I just think, okay, this is how you kick things off. Just bring up something that no one was expecting, but bring up something that everyone was going to be excited for.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about this. Where did this come from?
Because the most Aspyr have been doing, they've been porting the old LucasArts games from like the 90s to modern consoles.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they did.
Jedi Academy and everything.
Didn't they also do Star Wars Racer? Didn't they also do Star Wars Racer?
Yeah, they ported all the old games to modern systems.
Wait, that's cool. I think that's interesting. But the one thing I have on that for is, are they equipped to do... I mean, this is obviously well in the future, but are they equipped to do a from-the-ground-up remake?
Well, from what we've seen, all their games haven't exactly been pushing the envelope specs-wise. But I'm not sure if you guys read the follow-up interview afterwards, but they're bringing on board some of the old dev team from KOTOR.
Yeah, I saw a bit of that, yeah. That should be really cool.
I mean, that's interesting. Yes. That's an interesting decision to make. I personally really liked KOTOR when I played it, but I agree it's not aged brilliantly. So I think a from-the-ground-up remake could really help it.
I've never played it, but I've heard really great things about it. So I'm definitely going to try and get into it. I'm definitely going to try and get into this game when it comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely it's one of the best Star Wars games ever made.
Yeah, I've heard this. Like when it comes to Star Wars, it's an absolute classic.
Yeah, the original was made by BioWare, but which I thought was an excellent... I mean, they were an excellent studio, but they've obviously been going downhill in recent memory.
Probably better than not working on this one, then. And
we have seen other...
You don't want that's the old Andromeda.
I mean, one of my things is, if they wanted to make this a PlayStation 5 exclusive, because I think it's coming to Series X as well... why didn't they...
It does say it's also coming to Windows PC, so I can see that happening.
Yeah, but
because it's coming to PS5 as a time exclusive.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting choice. I wondered if they wanted to do that, why they didn't... if Sony really wanted to make a complete exclusive, really get their checkbook out, why they didn't ask Bluepoint Games to do it.
Yeah.
Considering they've done two fantastic jobs with the brilliant, despite what Ren says, the brilliant remake of Shadow of the Colossus, and they did that amazing remake of Demon's Souls. So I'm very curious to see what Bluepoint's going to do next, now that they're actually officially owned by Sony.
Yeah. My question about this remake is, will it follow Final Fantasy VII? Well, that started off as an RPG before becoming a JRPG with live battles. Because of KOTOR, that was all turn-based originally.
Yeah, I feel this is going to be an action RPG, and they will go the Final Fantasy VII remake route.
Yeah, because I mean, from the combat that I've seen from the original, it does definitely feel like a product of its time. I don't think it will really work too much nowadays.
Like especially considering that it's going to be on consoles that will have an enhanced version of Jedi Fallen Order on there. It's going to look, if it's still turn-based at that point, it's going to look a bit weak compared to that one.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who actually likes turn-based RPGs. I actually usually prefer a turn-based RPG to an action one. But
I mean, dude, you need to remember, Persona 5 is my favourite game of all time. Of course, I like turn-based RPGs.
Yeah, but I'm saying even us who really love turn-based RPGs are kind of saying it probably shouldn't be a turn-based RPG when it comes out.
Yeah.
Which actually...
that really limits the scope.
Yes, and actually, come to think of it, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad Bluepoint isn't making this, because I feel like if Bluepoint did it, they would literally just remake it as is and just update it slightly. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but that is very much what Bluepoint does when they make their games. Like, you play Demon's Souls, they've cleaned it up and really refined it, but it's very clearly is completely the same game that was on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, just with added collectible coins.
Yeah, and they've improved the physics. So, next game up was a game that Elliot thought was Parasite Eve for a minute, because of the name, and but it's called Project Eve. We're not really sure about this one.
In my defense, I did get the Eve part right.
I would have loved it.
So I was half right.
I would have loved it if this had been really where they're going with Parasite Eve, and they just said, "Screw it, we're going Devil May Cry on this thing."
I mean, I kind of had the feeling it was Parasite Eve because I had heard something that Tetsuya Nomura, I think, was kind of thinking, like, after Final Fantasy VII Remake and after Kingdom Hearts 3, and after Near the Wilderness with You, for that matter, he was kind of hoping he would do something with Parasite Eve. I heard that in a YouTube video. I'm not sure if that's... Don't quote me on that.
Nomura, get some sleep.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Project Eve? Because we don't know that much about it at this point.
Oh, it looks damn awesome.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of a Platinum Games entry like Bayonetta.
Yeah, like I got some major Bayonetta Devil May Cry vibes from that thing.
Yeah, it also looked a bit Scarlet Nexus in parts as well. I like the look of it. Is it just me though?
Post-apocalyptic setting, like Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah. But it's also the fact. Does she look like? Does the main character look like she's kind of meant to be in Dead or Alive?
I was thinking that actually. Yeah, I was thinking, did Dead or Alive make a spin-off? Like at first, I saw the thing on the space station. The last my first thought was Final Fantasy. This is not at all what you showed 16 of looked like.
So. I mean, we can't really speculate too much on this because we really don't know that much about it. But for a trailer that they showed us, it was they did get us pretty hyped.
Yeah, the world looks beautiful, combat looks fluid and slick, and the gore is very visceral.
I think this has to be next gen only. I don't believe this can run on, say, PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
I don't see this running on PS4.
But it also looks like this project is quite a bit off. So, and I don't think they even confirmed if this is a PlayStation exclusive at this point.
I don't think it is. I think they just mentioned it was the game, not whether.
Yeah, it just doesn't say if it was like what platforms is coming on, or like a launch date or window.
That's kind of interesting. Next,
I'm gonna assume it's probably going to be like a 2022-23 release.
I think this is 2023, judging by the fact it doesn't have a full title at this point.
Yeah.
So next game up was one from Gearbox that we knew about before. It's another trailer for Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Which I like the look of it a bit more from this trailer.
Yeah, there's a lot more humour in it.
Yeah, very funny trailer. What do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say the weapons as well are very imaginative, fitted with the setting of a D&D game.
Well, Elliot's the big D&D player out of the three of us.
Yeah.
Did you actually play much of the Tiny Tina stuff in Borderlands?
No, I only really played like Borderlands 2, most of Borderlands 1 and a little bit of 3. I haven't really played the DLC. It's my dad and my brother who are like the big Borderlands fans of the family. I
mean, actually, this is blasphemous to a lot of my friends, but I'm not really into Borderlands. It's kind of just okay game as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Like, I tried Borderlands 1, didn't really get into it, even when I played co-op with some of my friends. I didn't get into Borderlands 2 either. It just doesn't do it for me.
I mean, I just think...
Sorry, I think Borderlands is a decent series. I know you played 1 and some of 3.
What about you, Elliot? Sorry?
I'm not massive into the series. I do like the series. Don't get me wrong. I think it has a lot of charm, a lot of appeal, and like I could definitely see why it has a fan base that it does. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan. I just that's basically just it. I like the series, but I'm not its biggest fan.
Sorry, Reese, I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
I can't remember now.
Oh God! I will say though, I am not highly anticipating this game, even with it now having a March 22nd release date.
Yeah.
Although I was appreciating hearing Baby Metal being played in the trailer.
Yeah, and that Baby Metal fits too well with that. Seriously.
Next trailer was another trailer for, and probably the longest trailer we've had for this game so far. That Square Enix game, Forspoken.
Well, we learned it is apparently an isekai. Because we don't have enough of them already.
I don't know. I thought this trailer really brought out what you're going to be doing in this game and exactly how it's going to look like. They've never really let us have this long of a look at it. What was your thoughts,
Yeah,
Reese?
I mean, it's got me the most excited for the game of all the other trailers. Like the environments in that game look absolutely amazing.
What about you, Reese? What are your thoughts on it?
Saying, the environments look amazing. The monsters look really good and realistic with the fluidity of their movements, like with the flying ones.
They're really justifying this needing the PlayStation 5 to function, this one, as a timed exclusive.
Yeah, because I was really impressed with that segment, where she's going over the rooftops, like almost rollerblading.
Oh yeah, and it was just like the level of movement and the frame rate you got in that.
Yeah, it was just completely fluid. It was seamless.
They really got to make sure there is absolutely no frame rate drops when you're playing this game.
Yeah, otherwise you're really going to feel it.
Yeah, that's why as Cameron said, I cannot see this coming out on PS4. Just frame drops galore in that.
It definitely feels like Square Enix have said they are done with the PlayStation 4. I think Neo: The World Ends With You is the last big release they're going to put on PlayStation 4 going forwards.
Yeah.
I mean, they did announce it's delayed. It was meant to be coming out in January. It's now coming out in spring. I'm kind of glad they delayed it because if you think about it, if it's coming out in January, it's competing with Elden Ring and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, I wouldn't want to have Forspoken go up against those two.
And I'm already having to play Elden Ring and substitute for Arceus, which is such a shame.
Oh, we're gonna love it, Elliot. You know it.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna love it. I want to play more Arceus though.
It's all right.
Yeah, but you can say about this new window is when in spring is it going to come out? If it comes out in February, then it's going to compete with Forbidden West.
I think if it's spring, that's an April or May release date.
I'd say probably April.
April feels right. That sounds like the time this game comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because spring does begin in March. So I'm just hoping it's not too close to other big releases, otherwise it could get overshadowed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if you wanted to hear us bitch about something, well, we got a good one for you right now, because the next trailer was Rainbow Six Extraction again.
Oh,
yeah, we already see enough of this. We had the one they showed in Ubisoft was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks boring.
The funny thing is, this trailer looked better than that 10-minute one did.
Would you agree with that one, Reese?
Yeah, but I'm still not impressed with the game.
Yeah, God, doesn't look impressive, and the fact they've delayed it does not help things either. Like, why did they not put this? Why did they put this thing in January? Like, again, those games are coming out in February. At least you could have competed with Horizon Forbidden West. You might have got a few hits then. You coming out in January, you're doomed with that competition.
I mean, come on, no one's gonna play this over Elden Ring. I mean, I don't know. I was watching the showcase with my friend Sean. He seems kind of excited for the game. I might pick it up if he is. I don't know.
I mean, it looks all right, but I've said every time, I wouldn't look at this game and think, well, that's a Tom Clancy property.
Yeah, as we keep quoting from Scott the Wars, do you even know who Tom Clancy is anymore?
Nothing really to say on this.
Yeah, but at this point, it's just an asset flip of Siege with really bad alien designs.
Yeah, and in fact, it's an asset flip. Makes me wonder what's taking so long for this game to come out. Like we said, like in the Ubisoft show at E3, they said it was September, very middle of September, and then they said no, it's January. That's a massive delay at the last minute.
Yeah, because it's not like they're working on the alien designs because they still look.
Oh god, yeah, no, they look. I mean, you could probably hear more about what we thought when we did our thoughts on the Ubisoft Forward.
I'll be honest, I don't really remember much from this. I think my mind just kind of went. I think this trick just kind of zoned over me.
Well, the next one didn't though, Elliot, because this was one really for you. They announced they announced this a couple of days ago on Twitter after it leaked by a ratings board, and they owned up and said, yeah, it's real. But Remedy
I haven't been on Twitter like for the past 2 weeks, so.
And you really got the benefit because this wasn't spoiled and was a massive surprise for you. Alan Wake Remastered is coming October the 5th.
I hate to admit it, but I think out of all the things that were shown in this showcase, this is the one that got the biggest reaction from me.
What are your thoughts, Reese, on Alan Wake Remastered?
I'm looking forward to it. I actually didn't play the original, so I will be interested in picking it up. Because I have heard good things about it.
I did play the original on Xbox 360, but I'm keen to see what they've done to an update to it, especially if they've used the engine from Control for the remaster.
Yeah.
I mean, Control and Alan Wake are in the same universe, so I'll be very interested to see if they make any sort of minor changes to acknowledge that.
I mean, go on, sorry.
I was going to say, people have been putting up comparisons between the remake and the original footage, and it looks just so much better.
Yeah, Alan Wake hasn't aged brilliantly, so have this remaster is really good.
I mean, the thing is, obviously I'm excited for it. Alan Wake, honestly, was one of the games that was one of the things that actually really got me into horror. Because, like, it was during a time where I was a scared little bitch at everything. I really wasn't good with horror, but it was scary, I thought, at the time, but it wasn't too scary that I didn't keep going. So I ended up falling in love with that game, and I'm really excited to be playing it again.
I'm dead excited to see how it's going to turn out. It's much that's very close to release. I mean, October the 5th. That's less than a month away.
Yeah, I call dibs on reviewing it.
You can have it.
Definitely.
You can have it. I'll be interested to see if you can how fast you can do it. Considering you're also reviewing Metroid Dread around the same time. I reckon actually though, Alan Wake is quite a short game, isn't it? It's like only 10-12 hours, I think.
I think I've actually been playing the original a little bit again on Game Pass. It's I think the first chapter took me an hour, maybe two. So it shouldn't take me too long I don't think it should take me too long to finish it.
Oh, that's going to be cool. I mean, I'm interested to see what you're going to say about Alan Wake Remastered. I'm definitely going to get it because, incidentally, I've just got the main story is 11 hours long. Main plus extras is 14 hours, according to how long.
I'm just going to do the main story.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you write about that, Elliot. Because I mean, you must be dead excited to play this one.
As I said, it got the biggest reaction of anything from me. I'm actually really excited for it.
To move this over to onto Xbox, actually, on that basis, considering Alan Wake is on Xbox Game Pass, I think it might hurt the fact they didn't get the deal to have the remastered version on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. I think Game Pass isn't Game Pass like mostly when it comes to new games for like Xbox exclusive. This one is coming to PS5 as well.
Yeah, but they have done a lot of big deals on multiplats. Like they got Game Pass Day 1 for Outriders from Square Enix, or they got Hades on Game Pass in spite of the fact it was going to PS5 on the exact same day. And some Xbox exclusives don't go to Game Pass. Like, for example, I'm just playing that indie hit Death's Door, and it's an Xbox exclusive right now, but it's not on Game Pass for whatever reason. I
don't know. They're doing some very questionable things. They recently added Final Fantasy 13 onto there.
Why you took off Final Fantasy 9? Why add 13 on there? That's like
why add in what is arguably one of the worst games in a series. Just why?
Talk about going from champagne to cat's piss. Next trailer was one that none of us care about, I don't think, because they announced Grand Theft Auto 5's PS5 release date is early next year.
Yeah, so that's been pushed back because it was supposed to come out in November.
The thing is, it looks no different from the PS4 version.
Which was no different from the PS3 version.
Just give us GTA 6 for Christ's sake. So we do a bunch of Skyrim jokes, but at least we know we're getting Elder Scrolls 6.
Apparently Grand Theft Auto... Yeah, what did you say, Reece?
Just the PS2. We got 3 GTA games. GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. GTA 5 has now spanned 3 consoles itself.
Yeah, that's the thing. One console gets... I think it works out. One console gets 3 games. One game gets 3 consoles.
I mean, what we know about Grand Theft Auto at the minute is there are those plans for the PS2 trilogy to get remastered, which will be interesting. And Grand Theft Auto 6 is about 5 years off.
Yeah.
It's 5 years off. It's been nearly 10 years since 5 came out.
But again, it's GT Online. That's their big moneymaker. They are making so much off GT Online that they want to keep that thing going. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they'll integrate the new GT Online whenever Grand Theft Auto 6 does come out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no reason to pick this up to do the single player. I'm tired of playing Grand Theft Auto 5 single player.
Yeah, because I already beat PS4, so I don't need to play it again.
And I'm one of the few people who's not that big a fan of GTA 5 because I really don't like the characters.
Neither do I. I mean, my favourite Grand Theft Auto is Grand Theft Auto 4 because I actually really like the main character in Grand Theft Auto 4.
I mean, who knows? When the PS2 trilogy comes out, I'll probably give them a go. Hopefully those will be the games that actually get me into GTA finally.
I mean, I'm going to take Reese's advice and try Vice City again because he really is a big fan of Vice City.
That's right, because most people's favorite is San Andreas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you think...
San Andreas was 90s.
What do you think...
Juice culture of it.
I see. Yeah.
Not to mention it has Big Smoke, which is a big thumbs up.
I mean, I personally prefer San Andreas to Vice City, but I'm going to play it again to see to try and see it your way on this one, Reese.
Also, just to circle back to GTA Online, it earned last year nearly $1 billion in revenue.
Single year.
If you've got that, it's like, why do we need to make another game? This is kind of one of the issues I have with the idea of games as a service. This idea of we're not going to get that many new games. We're just going to have a load of really long games that get dragged out for ages and go between consoles and don't really have major updates. And I think certain franchises won't work for that one, so I don't think it's going to be a mainstay, but it is a bit worrying. I mean, Assassin's Creed is going down that route, for crying out loud.
I mean, it's honestly something that gives me major respect for Nintendo, because with Splatoon, they could have easily gone down that route, but they don't. You just buy the game once and maybe buy the amiibo, and that's it. Like, seriously, major respect to Nintendo for, like, not doing the whole live service thing.
And again, Splatoon would be perfect as a live service game, but they still chose to make Splatoon free.
One of the many things that makes Splatoon 2 the greatest multiplayer game of all time.
I mean, outside
of Smash Bros, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna when Splatoon 3 comes out, we're gonna really have to get Reese into Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the original on Wii U, but no Pixel 2.
It's a really good update, I will tell you that much, Reese, on that one. But I think Splatoon 3 is going to be amazing.
Splatoon 3 seems like a major upgrade, like more of an update than Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 1 was.
So let's talk the next trailer. It was another one for Shinji Mikami's game Ghostwire Tokyo, which I believe is another Bethesda-owned studio making this one.
Yes, it is.
That is it is weird that after at least 2 years after the Bethesda had been bought by Microsoft, that one of their games is still going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive for a bit.
I mean, it was like being announced. It was announced before Microsoft owned Bethesda, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I understand all that.
So no, then Microsoft couldn't really do anything about it without breaching contracts.
Yeah,
Sony it's Microsoft for that.
Yeah, no, it's basically Microsoft don't want to get their checkbook out, so they'd rather just say. Okay,
I mean, it's the same reason why Deathloop's still coming onto other consoles.
I mean, unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about Deathloop in a bit, but I didn't really like this trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo. It didn't really, to me, it doesn't. As much as it kind of got me hyped on the possibilities, I don't think we saw enough of it, to be honest.
Yeah, from what I saw, it looks to be like a first-person game, which I thought was weird.
I wasn't really expecting it to be. I wasn't really expecting that. I was thinking more like it would be a kind of more of a Silent Hill style game.
Yeah, I didn't think this doesn't really feel like the game we thought it was going to be. I'm wondering though, the fact it is first person and there's so much effects on things like jumping at the screen. Is this a game they're gonna be adding the VR tech into it, and we're gonna have this be another attempt to be like Resident Evil 7?
Well, it definitely looks that way.
It would definitely fit. It would definitely fit the VR, and well, I guess it ultimately depends on what Bethesda decides to do with that.
I mean, as soon as this game is done, I think Microsoft is going to hand Shinji Mikami a blank check and say, make whatever game you want to make, just make it Xbox exclusive at this point in time. I mean, I love the concept of Ghostwire Tokyo, but I want to see more of it. And it still felt like they were showing too much too soon. Because to me, this game doesn't... I don't even feel like this game could come out in 2022. I think this might be a 2023 game.
Well, it depends how large of a scale the game is.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know what the state when this build was made that the trailer's been done. Like this could have been done like a month ago, and a lot has been done in that time.
I'm going to assume that I'm going to assume it's going to stay as a 2022 release. It doesn't seem like that big of a game that requires another year.
Interestingly, have you guys played either of the Evil Within games?
I played the first one.
What about Reese? Did you say you didn't play them?
No, I've only seen footage of them.
Do you like? I haven't played Evil Within yet. We'll get round to it because it's on Game Pass at some point.
I do recommend it. I've only played the first one, but I did really like it.
That's weird because most people say the first one is a good concept, but it doesn't really execute well, and the second one is the really good one.
I mean, I will admit, it did go a little downhill for me because the first chapter was just absolutely terrifying, and then afterwards we just went back to Resident Evil 4. I still enjoyed it though. I did still really like it. So
next trailer was another trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is done by Eidos Montreal. I mean, they did a very good job showing off a bit more of this game. definitely seem like they've got the branch of the humour down.
I like how they showed off more of the story as well. I feel like we didn't even get too much of that when it was first announced.
Yeah, because it's more like a solo mission the Guardians were on.
Yeah.
And Reese was spotting tons of Easter eggs for things that could be in the game.
I'm pretty much predicting the final villain now from what they've been dropping.
I will say some of the ones that you told me about. I'm kind of thinking, wow, what is that boss fight going to look like if that's the final villain?
Yeah.
But I'll be interested to see how it turns out. It definitely looks like a little bit more effort's gone into the story of this than it has for Avengers.
Oh yeah, considering there was pretty much no effort in Avengers.
Well, I think partly because this isn't going to be a crappy live service.
What are your thoughts now on what do you guys think about the models for these ones? Because a lot of people still say it's another case of Revenge of the Stunt Doubles.
I think they have been improved. They look more comic book accurate than film accurate.
I'd agree. It looks like they're kind of going for that hybrid of the comics and the films.
I think they look. I mean, I don't mind them. I think they look fine.
Well, I've got it rated. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. It will be an interesting one overall. I'm dead excited to see how it turns out. I've got it pre-ordered on my Steam.
Yeah, and the best part is that we actually saw Cosmo come back.
Yeah, Cosmo. That was an awesome choice. Why haven't they put? Why has Cosmo been reduced to a cameo in the first film?
I know, it's so bad considering he's so important in the comics.
Okay, so next trailer was one that I know Elliot's a bit of a fan of this franchise. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
I'm not really a fan of the franchise. I just know it's got a lot of history. I know it's got a lot of fans, really.
And Reese, you said you played a bit of the first one?
Yeah, I played a bit of it. I've not played any of the original tabletop games the video game's based on, though. I've
played a bit of the first one. It didn't really grab me, and the fact this one's an arena battle game, it does not fill me with confidence.
Yeah, this is like the multiplayer spin-off and not the sequel we saw last year. So they are separate.
I mean, the thing that I got from it was, as well, they almost seem ashamed of the fact this is in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, because they put Vampire the Masquerade in such small letters and in massive letters. Blood Hunt.
Yeah, Masquerade.
Well, why? Vampire the Masquerade? Well, why? Vampire Masquerade is a big franchise. It's been going for decades. It has a ton of fans.
Yeah, also with the title Blood Hunt.
It doesn't make sense.
This is on it. It looks much more like a Rob Liefeld creation from the 90s.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that one. It definitely has a bit of the Rob Liefeld effect, like the blood gun type thing. Like, we're so edgy. I'm not really into my vampire fiction most of the time. Vampires are just kind of for me at the minute.
I mean, I don't know. I've always enjoyed vampires, which is probably obvious considering my favorite anime is Wrath at the End. But
I mean, I really enjoyed the Castlevania series on Netflix, but that's about the most I've really done towards that sort of thing.
Also, Blood Hunt was apparently released on PC earlier this year in early access.
That doesn't. I was going to say, because this didn't look like it was a build that is still in development. This looked like something that would be in early access.
Yeah.
Then, for no reason, they show up another trailer for Deathloop, which...
Oh, I don't care.
How many times do you have to promote this? We got, an entire half a state of play just for Deathloop. Yeah, we don't need any more of it.
It's out. I mean, by the time that this, it comes. We recorded this on the day after this presentation. It's coming out on Tuesday.
like it's just it. I mean, it's a bit like in E3 this year when Nintendo showed off a trailer for Mario Golf Super Rush, despite the fact it was coming out like I'm pretty sure the week after. You just think it's not very much point in showing this. We know it's coming out.
Yeah, but at least with Nintendo, they were showing off, or in that case, Nintendo was showing off DLC from free updates. They weren't just saying the game's coming out. They at least said, here's something to look forward to.
DLC that we will not be playing.
Nope.
Yeah, but we're definitely now. It's just target oversaturation. So we've seen so much of it. It's going to desensitize us to wanting to buy it.
Why do you think I'm taking the bullet and doing the review?
Yeah.
I'm sparing you guys from this one.
Yeah, because after promotion, it's just going to hit sales figures.
The sad thing is, I do think the game looks good, but it's just like I've seen so much of it, I don't care anymore.
This is a prime example of oversaturation killed the intrigue. I mean, I actually thought they were going to avoid a lot of pointless adverts, considering they said Death Stranding Director's Cut will not be in this thing. We're going to show a final trailer for it the day before, and I thought that was a smart decision. Don't waste time on Death Stranding. That's fine.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to waste time on Deathloop, which is coming out even sooner. What was the point?
Which has even less fans than Death Stranding.
Oh, God. Then there was a very confusing trailer. I really hope this is not abandoned, because that game's not real. But I thought it was Silent Hill for a bit, but it's called Kid Amnesia, I think.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be Dead Space due to the monolith that looked like a marker in the background.
I honestly had no idea what it was going to be.
But I saw the red and I thought, Pyramid Head is going to show up in a minute, and I'm going to prove to everyone that Silent Hill is real. And it just didn't happen.
I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be Silent Hill. I feel like if they're going to do a Silent Hill trailer, it would probably be in the Hell World. And I just think that is not the Hell World. Yeah,
I want to... From what I've heard, there are about... I think there's 2 Silent Hill games being made at the same time, and one of them will be a PlayStation exclusive. So we will see... so if that's true, we will see a Silent Hill reveal in one of these Sony presentations. But going back to this one, I mean, it looked weird. We don't really know much about it.
I mean, it looked weird. I have no idea about it. But I'm interested. I'll be honest, I'm interested.
They did a bad job.
I'm actually kind of interested in this.
And apparently it's also non-exclusive because it's coming to PC and Mac via the Epic Games Store.
Okay, interesting choice.
Oh, God. Not the Epic Games Store again.
Oh, God, yeah, no, seriously. I will say, though, when it comes to... I'm just glad Abandoned wasn't in this show in any capacity, because I am so sick of the conspiracy theories surrounding that game. When it's such a nothing thing, there will not be a game. Abandoned will never release. I'll put £100 on it right here, right now. Abandoned will never release, and it's not Hideo Kojima, and it's not Silent Hill.
I do not have any idea what you were talking about. Again, I've been avoiding Twitter. I think I've avoided most of this.
I will say you got lucky avoiding this. This was before you kind of took your sabbatical off Twitter. But basically, this game studio from Holland started sort of hinting that they might be working with Konami or doing Silent Hill or this game Abandoned. And they announced that they were going to do this playable teaser on PlayStation 5. So everyone got excited, and they're insisting it's Hideo Kojima and it's Silent Hill, and it's just not. And no matter how much evidence we present to these people, it's not, because we've gone into company's house and said it's not Kojima, this is the name of the director, he's the only employee there, and they still think it's Kojima doing this massive long game. He's not working on Silent Hill, he is done with Konami.
After the breakup between Kojima and Konami, I doubt they would reconcile. Especially knowing Konami's track record.
And the thing is, the playable experience never materialised. And they said, there's a technical fault with the patch. Well, no, that's a problem with Sony. There is nothing wrong on your end. If the patch is there, it's ready to go. Which means you lied. And when they did eventually put something out, it was just a 7-second trailer.
And yet people still got sucked into it because they were thinking that it was the exact same sound clip from Metal Gear Solid's footsteps.
I mean, fans are just going to lie to themselves and build things up. I mean, you remember the Jim Sterling video on Nintendo Fanboys?
Yeah.
With a fake F-Zero Twitter page, and so many people believe in it, despite the fact it was clearly a troll.
Yeah, I will say right now, as bad as that one was, and I agree that was bad, I feel like this one's worse. Because these guys have a track record for being really bad about this sort of thing. Like, they've done this in the past. They promised playable demos and then they've never shown up and the game's been quietly cancelled. So the fact they took their word again surprises me, but we're getting a bit off topic. Next game is something that was... I thought this game looked amazing. I really want to see more of this. It's called... I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Tchia. And it's sort of like... It's based on like a French Caledonia. It's like I think it's one of those South Sea Island locations.
I think we've gotten a couple of trailers for this one actually already.
At first I've seen of this game, so I must have missed this entirely. Have you seen this before, Reese?
This is my first time seeing it. And I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, like holy hell, it looks great.
It looks like someone really got inspired by seeing Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey and wanted to merge those games together.
I mean, yeah, it does say on the thing I'm saying that it's very reminiscent of Super Mario Odyssey.
The colours in that environment just look beautiful. You want to just explore that area.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the first sort of vibes I got from it weren't Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey. It was honestly kind of something like Animal Crossing. Like, it felt like one of those games that you can just like, you can either go on a grand adventure on or just kind of relax in your town or something like that.
I'll be interested to see what it's like when we finally get our hands on it. What did you think of this one overall, Reese?
Yeah, I'm just really intrigued. It just looks absolutely beautiful.
It also... Yeah.
I was going to say, it got really sinister at the end with all the villains. I thought it looked interesting with all the different colour masks. It looks like it's really... It's going to be really interesting looking into this culture as well. Like they really put down that culture is what has inspired this game experience, and I'm going to be dead excited to see how it turns out.
Also, you can pet crabs in this game. Best game ever. And
Reese told me if she possessed the mud crabs from Skyrim, it would be a very different story. Yeah. That was a good one, Reese.
It's a lethal thing in Skyrim. It's not Anduin, it's the humble mud crab.
Ah, yes. Next trailer was an announcement for the Uncharted games are not only getting remastered for PC, like we had previously heard, they're also getting remastered for PlayStation 5.
No, we've only got announcements for it being for Uncharted 4 and A Thief's End. There's not really anything on the Nathan Drake collection.
Why not? Like I would really like if you're going to PC.
I would kill to have the Nathan Drake collection on PC.
But if you're putting Nathan Drake on PC, right? You're putting Uncharted 4 on there only. Well, what if PC owners who have never owned a PlayStation but have heard about these games think, I want to get into it, but they haven't got the ability to play 1 through 3?
Yeah.
That's a really bad decision as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know, I'm thinking hopefully we might, when this closer to this game coming out, we'll also get the announcement of the Nathan Drake collection is also getting remastered. I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, but I think that they're doing this as promotion for the new film with Tom Holland. Because that's supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, that's... I could believe it's part of the promotion for that. But again, I would still think you'd want to have the Nathan Drake collection and then put Thief's End on there.
Yeah.
I
mean, who knows? If I remember on PS4, the Nathan Drake collection came out after Uncharted 4, so it might be another one of those situations.
I mean, I like the look. I mean, I'll be interested to see how it turns out, but I mean, they've not picked my favourite game in the series, but I mean, I'll be willing to check it out. I think I'd probably check out the PC version rather than the PlayStation 5 version.
I'm guessing your favourite game is Uncharted 2.
It is, yes. I like
because that is everyone's favourite game in the series.
I normally don't just go with what everyone thinks, but in this case, I will just go with what everyone thinks. I really love Uncharted 2.
Yeah, especially because everyone just remembers the train scene and how.
Oh my god, the train scene! Like that game had probably one of the best opening levels of any game I've ever played.
I remember my mum thought that game was a film when she could only hear the audio of it.
Well, now it will be, Cal.
Yeah, I know. Tom Holland is playing Nathan Drake, which is I think kind of a weird casting choice, but
not a very you do not see Tom Holland and think Nathan Drake unless it's like meant to be like a bit of an origin story. I don't know.
I mean,
did you get to see the fan film that Nathan Fillion did?
I did, yes.
Oh, it was so good.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a really good fan film, and Nathan Fillion really brings it.
Yeah.
So then we got into a game. Then we saw the Insomniac and Marvel logo, and I initially thought, okay, this is Spider-Man 2, but no, it's another Marvel property. Insomniac is making a Wolverine game.
Who the hell thought that? Who the hell thought that would happen?
Yeah, because the last good Wolverine game was the X-Men Origins one, and that was well over a decade ago.
And that was based on a terrible film.
Yeah, who'd have thought that the movie would be terrible and the game would be good? No, it's the other way around.
So,
yeah.
I mean, we only saw a small CG trailer. We don't even know what Logan looks like in this game.
No, we only saw him from the back, but he's got his classic comic book civilian clothes, a cowboy hat and checkered top.
When I saw that, honestly, my first thought was Johan Hex, is it?
Oh, he's DC.
Jonah Hex.
Oh,
yeah.
He's DC, right? Okay.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you one of the things I find interesting with do you know there's someone I would really like to see reprise the role as Wolverine for this game? And I don't think they will get this person, but I'd like to see Steve Bloom do it again because he was really good as Wolverine in X-Men Evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know.
Big the budget is from Sony. They could not get Hugh Jackman to voice him.
No, I mean, mind you, that being said, whenever Insomniac tends to do better when they don't have to make the likeness of the actor playing the role.
I'm going to guess, just from the trailer, we might be getting someone who does more of a gruff voice for Wolverine, just because it looks like a dark game from what I've seen.
And I imagine the fact it's called Wolverine means we won't get much of the X-Men in this.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be more of a Logan situation.
It's fine. Wolverine can carry a story by himself, but I mean, I'll be interested to see where Insomniac goes with this one. I think they're just going to try and give Insomniac all the Marvel properties at this point.
Well, they'll do a better job with it than Square did.
Yeah, Insomniac does have the best track record currently on PlayStation with the PS5 lineup.
Yeah, I mean, how good have Insomniac been as a purchase for Sony? Like, not only have they covered kind of their first year, it looks like they're going to cover their next couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, you sent that thing to us of the Jack Sparrow carrying the ship and saying PlayStation and Insomniac carrying them.
Yeah.
That was great.
Which is true, because everyone was saying, oh no, it's Santa Monica with Dad of War, but that was just one game. Insomniac have done 3 now since launch.
Yeah, I think obviously God of War is going to be overall the best game, but Insomniac with a number of games and really good ones as well, from what it looks like.
Like, look at this year alone. We've had Spider-Man Remastered, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and we've had Ratchet and Clank. Those have all been phenomenal games.
Yeah, wide critical acclaim. Everyone loves them.
And now we're getting a number more from them. Seriously, god damn, they have not. It's good to see they're still just as good as they were in their PS1 days. Holy shit.
Good, such good decision by Sony to say we're buying this studio, because it's paid off for them big time.
Majorly, hell yeah.
I think they kind of had to, though, to be honest, because you can't risk Ratchet and Clank going to another studio.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Reese?
Just that I'm wondering what the team size is in this on that, because with all the work they've been doing in such a fast pace, I just don't want them to get burnt out.
Well, from what I heard, there was no crunch on Ratchet and Clank, and the team was celebrating that there wasn't any. So I imagine that the team is running quite well.
Do you know if there was any in Spider-Man?
I would imagine not, considering how much it got delayed. I think people forget how often Spider-Man got delayed before it came out.
So that's something that gives major respect to Insomnia for creating these games without any crunch.
So next game was one game which I thought I should be more impressed with this than I am, which is Gran Turismo 7. They announced it's going to have they showed off more of it, and they announced a release date of March the 4th. Which interesting date, because it's very close to Horizon.
I have to ask though, why is it that all the best looking games, graphics wise, are racing games? And this game looks beautiful.
Well, that's easy to find out, because they don't need to put any effort into actual animations. The characters.
As I said, I was talking to Sean while we were watching this, and he said, "Imagine a Burnout game looking this good."
Jesus, I mean,
that would be amazing.
For the record, on this one though, actually, here's an interesting thing I want to ask. Compared to, how do you say this looks compared to Forza Horizon 5?
I feel like
that's Forza. I don't think it's graphically as sharp as Forza does.
What will you think, Elliot? Which one do you think looks better?
I think graphics-wise and just presentation-wise, Gran Turismo does, but I think that's because with Forza, they're showing off a lot more with the environments. Like, it's not just you going around racetracks, you're like traveling the mountains, you're like going through Mexico in this one, and you just think you have a lot more to show off.
Is it weird that I'm a bit more excited for Forza than I am for Gran Turismo, or would you guys say...
No, I'm more excited for Forza. It looks like they're doing a lot more with those games than just racing.
What is your thoughts?
It's a world compared to Gran Turismo, which is just track-based.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with Reese on this one. I think that when you've got these... racetracks are not known to be the most environmentally diverse places, because you tend to build them in quite far-off locations... but so as a result that you don't have to animate as much. I mean, it could be. I mean, that being said, Gran Turismo games are always graphical showcases for their consoles. My worry is, though, is this one going to be, considering it also has to be on PlayStation 4?
Is it confirmed? I thought it was just PS5.
No, it's confirmed for PS4 as well.
You know, they announced like a couple of months ago, no, we are going to put it on PlayStation 4 as well.
I feel like with PlayStation 4, they're just going to downgrade it. They'll just downgrade the graphics and bump it up for PS5.
The thing that bothers me is not the fact this is going to be on PlayStation 4. I think it's fine to give PlayStation 4 that own the ability to play that game. What I don't like is the fact that they were saying for so long this will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and they implied for ages it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and then the last minute said, no, we're putting this on PlayStation 4 as well.
Well, don't forget, there's still such a massive chip shortage with Sony. They can't make that many new consoles to ship out.
Yeah, but I do think they need to throw a bit more to PlayStation 5 owners and really give them that incentive of it was worth really shelling out and getting that PlayStation 5. Like, I think we need more games to say this is where technology's going.
I mean, if you ask me, we've if you ask me, they kind of got that with games like Ratchet and Clank and Demon Souls.
Yeah.
And, of course, all the other games are
and I'd say to a certain extent Returnal does that, considering how fast it can load these randomly generated environments. Next one that was a trailer which I thought was going to be at this thing, but I'm surprised how good they made it look. Insomniac came back and announced we're working on Spider-Man 2.
I was not expecting an announcement for that so soon. Like, considering just last year we got Miles Morales, and the year before that we got Spider-Man for PS4. I was not expecting an announcement for a new Spider-Man game this early.
And then Reese pointed out the thing that I was really excited about it, because they showed off Venom is going to be in the game. But he's also...
hell yeah.
But Reese, who did you find out he's voiced by?
Tony Todd, the Candyman.
Like, that is perfect casting. Like,
yeah.
He's
so good.
Like, even in the Final Destination films, he steals the show in that thing. Like, when the fact he doesn't really reprise his role in the new Candyman film, I felt was a real downgrade for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so excited to see how he'll do playing Venom.
Especially because he's such an accomplished horror actor, so, as I pointed out, they're probably going to take more Venom from the 80s, where he was more a monster, a murderer, eating brains, rather than the version in the 90s, which is in the Tom Hardy films, where he's just...
for what I'm guessing, we are definitely going to be getting... I'm hoping we get more of the evil Venom rather than the anti-hero Venom.
I'm just hoping they'll go backwards when regards to Spider-Man's face.
I mean, I definitely feel like we're going to because this is because I mean, Venom is is normally a Spider-Man villain, not an anti-hero, and this is clearly a Spider-Man game. So I'm hoping we do get that.
What do we know? Did you spot any other villains in this trailer? I didn't see that. I couldn't tell some of them.
No, I couldn't make any out. At first, I thought with the opening shot with the electric, it was going to be Electro, because I forgot Miles can use bioelectricity as one of his powers.
One of the things I'm wondering as well is, will this one have co-op in it?
That would be cool, actually. That would be cool.
So Miles fighting together, so possibly local co-op.
Wouldn't it be great if it's online co-op?
Oh, it would be.
Oh, that would be awesome, yeah.
But, I mean, I'm hoping they can have this game run at 4K 60 FPS, because it really would just make that game look so good if they did manage to pull it off.
I mean, now I think about it, I do hope, like, when it comes to co-op, it is more online than local, because with how fast-paced and how much awareness you need of your surroundings the original Spider-Man is, it will not work as split screen.
I can definitely see the point there. I mean, this game's not going to be out till 2023, which, to me, although I think the announcement's a little too early, I mean, it at least shows that Insomniac is taking their time with this one.
Yeah, it definitely kind of shows like they're really going to be working really hard on it.
Well, I think they pushed this trailer out early to coincide with Spider-Man No Way Home.
That makes sense, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that does sort of line up quite well. Here's a question I'm wondering now. Does Wolverine come out before or after Spider-Man 2?
I think possibly before.
I'm going to say before as well.
I think it does come out before. I think...
I feel like Spider-Man 2 is going to be more of an ordeal to make.
Even if they are going to be bringing in a whole bunch of reused assets, it does feel like it's going to be a bit of a long process. But I'm wondering how much of it is going to be reused, considering that this game is going to take as long as it is doing.
Yeah, so Wolverine may come out faster because, unlike Spider-Man, he has a much more limited power set. So you don't need to program web swinging or web gadgets.
In that case, do you think Wolverine will be open world, or do you think it will be more of a linear game?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually. I think, given Insomniac's track record, open world.
Yeah, I think it'll be more a limited open world like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was.
Or
open world like Spider-Man.
Yeah, sort of. I'm hoping though they will extend it out a bit and like have wall climbing, like using the claws to wall climb, like Breath of the Wild style.
Before we soon actually to just make him look like a dick because he's just going through people's walls.
Oh Jesus! I mean, I'll be interested to see how these games, when these games come out. I'm really excited about Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. I think I'm interested to see what Insomniac will do with both of those games.
Same.
Final trailer was the one they had to show. I think they had to show an update for this game. It's God of War Ragnarok. They have finally confirmed that is definitely the title, and they showed off a lot more of it.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting anything from this game until like next year. I'm very surprised you actually got something this early.
I thought they had to show it at this point because they really hadn't shown much of anything of it yet. I think they need to show a bit more to get us a little bit excited, and they really did their job with that one because it's a very exciting looking game.
Another thing I find surprising as well is that apparently this is going to end the Norse saga in God of War. So apparently this might be the last Norse game based in a Norse setting.
Because I saw that in the interview afterwards, and what he said was he's going to start wrapping up, not that it was the end. Because I was talking with Nikki afterwards, and we were saying that if Kratos kills all the Asgardians, there could be a third game that features Kratos fighting with the rest of the realms. Because in classic Norse myth, the Asgardians keep the realms in order, which we saw in Marvel briefly.
And of course, if one of the realms falls out of sync, the other ones will as well. So, I mean, there could be another game in the Norse setting, but I think it's going to. But it does sound like they are kind of wrapping up most of the story with this game.
Yeah, so I think it could just be wrapping up the Asgardian section, and we could have another game that could be like with the Fallout.
Because I think I was with Elliot on this one. I think I was expecting it to be a trilogy rather than a duology.
Yeah, like what they did with the ancient Greeks.
I mean,
or maybe this game might do a God of War 2 and end it on a massive cliffhanger.
I mean, they could do. I mean, they are hinting at a bunch of tension between Kratos and Atreus, which falls in line with the mythology.
Yeah, I'm going to make a quick prediction now. If this is not going to be the last of it, and we are going to be getting another game. The last game is going to involve Kratos fighting Atreus.
They do. Again, anything. The one thing the last game proved is anything could happen because, like, a lot of the Norse myths are there and function and sort of happening. But something is fucking with the timeline as well. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, especially because we saw in the interview afterwards, while to develop this thing, it's going to be classic Thor from Norse myth, and now it's going to be a redhead, and not the blonde Australian we're all used to.
What I find interesting is they got one of the actors from Sons of Anarchy playing him.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting casting choice.
And they also announced Odin, but I didn't write it down and I forgot who it was.
Oh, yeah, they did announce who's playing Odin, but they didn't show Odin in this one, so that's going to be interesting to see what he's going to be like in this one.
I mean, from what it seems like they're going to be continuing directly from that ending that we got in God of War PS4.
Well, I think that's good. Yeah. I mean,
at the very least, they're going to be starting from that.
And there'll have to be a time skip afterwards because
the trace is at puberty.
Yeah, it looks like he's aged up about 5 years.
I think it's to account for the fact that the actor they got to play Atreus has aged himself, so they want to keep that going. Plus, I think it makes a lot of sense considering it's a new. None of Kratos has never had to raise one of his kids at that age because they all end up dying before they can hit that. So this is going to be a first and a new thing for him. That being said, I mean, what did you guys? Does it look like it's not an incredibly huge update from the last game to this one? And I know it's going to work on PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5, but to me, it doesn't feel like a huge update has been made from one to the other.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
The populated city we get to explore. Because that's never really in God of War previously.
Yeah, that's definitely true. God of War have been very solitude games.
Yeah. Because the only time we've seen a populated city is with Athens, where it's just been razed to the ground by Ares.
Yeah, usually anytime you see a large population in a God of War game, it's not something good.
And in that, it was mostly just people running away. But you could kill them. Thanks, God of War 1.
I don't think they gave away too much the story in this trailer either. I think they gave away just enough to get us excited, but not so much that it feels like, oh, what's the point of playing it now?
Yeah, and that's why the kind of story trailers I like. I wish some people would learn to do that. Nintendo!
What about, I think they did a very good job with they only showed a bit of Freya now, kind of on the hunt. Really pissed off about Boulder's death.
She did swear revenge at the end of the last game.
Yeah, it was. That was a hell of a twist to find out she's just as fucked up as the rest of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I was really impressed with Christopher Judge's new voice direction, because there's a lot more emotion in this trailer. Because when Atreus brought up about Kratos having to be a general to deal with it, he really freaked out by PTSD, because he used to be one in the Spartan army.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic between the two.
It's really interesting because it was built up in the first game, but really seems like in this one that is we're sort of going down the route of Atreus becoming more like Kratos during the ancient Greek days, and Kratos trying to stop it.
It's again how much is his nature as from what we found out about Atreus' nature at the end of God of War PS4. How is that going to affect him in this one? How will it affect the gameplay in this one? It briefly affects.
And again, hence the prediction that I have of at the end of the Norse saga, Kratos having to fight Atreus.
I will say they did show a good job showing the gameplay in this one. I think they did make the gameplay look very good.
Yeah, and we saw more unique monsters, which God of War had a problem with a lot of reusing, like the trolls and that.
Yeah.
I love that game, but it did feel like you were fighting the same enemies quite a lot.
Yeah. Which is one of the factors that made me still prefer God of War 3 over it.
Yeah, I mean,
an unpopular opinion, I know, but still.
I know a lot of people. No, I know a lot of people that agree with you, Elliot, that they think God of War 3 is better. But I will say this is probably out of all the games in this is the one I really want to get my hands on and play.
Yeah,
it's the same with most people, honestly. Yeah.
Can I say though? I think they got this in terms of the presentation as a whole. I think they got this the wrong way around. I think this trailer should have opened the show, and Star Wars KOTOR remake should have closed the show.
Yeah.
I don't know, because KOTOR is obviously really big, but I think most people came here hoping for God of War, so I feel like it's kind of a right call to end it on it.
Yeah, and it is a first party game, so so it's more of an impact on that sense. I'm interested that Cory Balrog is not directing this one.
Yeah, we don't know who is directing, do we?
No, we do. It's.
I mean,
we do.
Yeah, we do. I mean, as I said in the thing afterwards, it's kind of tradition for people for there to be a new director for each God of War game, and you can kind of see. And I kind of already knew that because in God of War, in the making of God of War 3 video, on God of War 3, they did sort of start off by introducing a new director to the game. So it's kind of tradition for there to be a new director with each game.
I'm interested. It still feels like Cory Balrog has a big influence over how this game's going to turn out, and maybe it means that Santa Monica's a bit more. Sorry, Reese, what did you say?
As I said, considering he's the one who gave the interview, and not any other member of staff.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how it'll do. But as Elliot said, it is tradition that each God of War game gets a new director. So I'm not too worried about that. Interestingly, though, we know that PlayStation 4 owners will have to pay money to upgrade to PlayStation 5 when they get that one if they don't buy a very special edition of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I'm able to get one by then.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, I'm going to be glad that they reversed their decision on Horizon and they said you will get a free upgrade because we had to delay it so much and we promised all the launch window titles would have that feature. And I agree that, and to a certain extent, but I don't want them to overcharge for these upgrades. Like, I don't think you can say you have to spend £80 to guarantee you can play it on PlayStation 5 as soon as you get one.
Yeah.
So that was the PlayStation.
Here's a question. Just quickly go back to God of War. We still have a release date. What year we think it's coming out?
I think it's the end of next year.
Same.
I think it'll either be end of next year or spring the year after.
It's due to the whole setting that we saw, where it's all ice and snow. So I think it'll be thematic to release it during winter.
That being said, they try.
I mean, it was very. The first game was very had a lot of ice and snow in it. That came out in April.
Yeah, but that was aimed to be released in winter, and then it got delayed to April. So I reckon the irony is I bet you that's what's going to happen. They're going to try and release it at the end of next year, and then they'll release it in April 2023, and we're like, it's coincidence? I think not. So that was the PlayStation presentation. We'll start with Reese and then check in with Elliot. What did you think of the presentation overall?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. We saw a lot of good gameplay for interesting games coming up. The only downsides that I thought was no Crash Bandicoot announcement for the 25th anniversary.
No,
which was the same.
Toys with Bob do celebrate the 25th anniversary with a video, apparently, but nothing outside of that.
Yeah, that's the video I was referring to, because at the end, while the co-director said, we'll be seeing Crash very soon, so keep an eye on his social medias. So I thought maybe in a few hours when we had the showcase, they may put an announcement in for something.
Yeah, but that didn't happen, unfortunately, which is a real shame.
I'm not too surprised though, because we did just get Crash 4 last year.
Smash Brothers, come on, Smash Brothers! What did you think of this whole thing, Elliot?
Of course, there were a couple of things I wasn't too happy about. Rainbow Six, Grand Theft Auto, Deathloop, all that stuff. Overall, though, I wish we got this at E3 because this would have made it so much better. I absolutely loved this. It was absolutely amazing.
I would have still said if this had been at E3, I still would have said Nintendo had the best show, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably say they'd be tied for me, personally.
I thought this was pretty good for the most part. I think it had its downturns and moments where I was like, can you move on a bit quicker? I don't really care about this. But the thing that made me a bit concerned in this one was there wasn't that many concrete release dates in this presentation, and it feels like PlayStation might be moving into a bit of an issue that Xbox are having, where of announcing too many games too soon with not much idea about when they're coming out.
But although the problem with PlayStation now is, even if they do give a release date, there could be delays because so many of their games have been delayed.
Yeah,
so they're a bit worthless now.
Maybe they are trying to be a bit more responsible with how they make these announcements.
Yeah, maybe they're saving the release dates for when they're like near certain on when they're going to be released, rather than just saying, "Oh, it's coming out then," and just like, "Oops."
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's kind of got this down because whenever they announce release dates, usually they actually stick with it.
Yeah, they never really. Also, like a lot of times when they're uncertain, they don't really say when the release date. The exact release date normally say around the period when it's coming out, like spring 2022 or just 2022.
So when do we? So here's the thing: what do we feel? Was there anything we felt like? Why wasn't this at the show?
Crash.
Well, there's Crash
again. Resi 8 DLC.
Resi 8. Tell you one that I was really expecting to be there, and I'm really surprised it didn't show up because I've been hearing a lot about this. Infamous 3. I have been hearing a ton that Infamous 3 is in development and is going to be announced.
I'm not holding my breath on that. I feel like Sucker Punch might have moved. I think Sucker Punch might be moving on to Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm now starting to think that, especially considering that if they were going to announce Infamous 3, this might have been the place for it.
Yeah.
What do you...
Because it's been so long since... What was the last one? Second Son, was it?
Second Son, yeah. There's been a long time since Second Son. But
sorry if you heard barking, by the way. I think Lilu's trying to get Ripley to play.
Oh.
Yay, Lilu and Ripley.
They are a nightmare together, honestly.
But I will say, the one thing I thought was maybe Sony is saying this as a Game Awards announcement. Because all the companies have held something back at this point. Like Sony's probably held some things back. Xbox will definitely have held some things back, and Nintendo will hold some things back from whenever they do their next Direct, probably next week. But so I feel like Infamous 3, if it's real, I mean, I could see that being a Game Awards announcement, and we get a small teaser at that.
In that case, what do you think Infamous will be? Do you think we'll be returning to Cole, or do you think it'll be a sequel to Second Son?
I think considering how...
Or maybe a Third Son.
I feel like it's either going to be a follow-up to Second Son, considering how well that did, or it's a whole new thing completely.
I mean, not that many people were too big on Second Son. I'm in the minority in that. I really loved Second Son. So I do hope personally that we do get more of that, but I don't know too much if we will.
Yeah, because Second Son was more popular with new players rather than returning players from the series.
What?
I mean, I was a new player when I played it, so that makes sense, actually.
That falls in line there. What do we... I mean, is it maybe that someone... Is Infamous a big enough announcement to be in to be in this presentation, or would they think it's really something we want for the Game Awards? Do you think that it's just not real, and it's just not, and that something's leaked that was a bit more than they thought it was?
Well, don't forget, Infamous was that big. It got 2 entries in PlayStation All Stars, Cal.
Oh yeah.
As I said, I would love a new Infamous game. I would absolutely kill for that, but I'm not holding my breath on it, honestly.
Do you know what? If they have said Infamous is not a thing we want to work on anymore, and we want to concentrate on Ghost of Tsushima, I think that's not a bad trade-off, because I really loved Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I mean, Infamous is great, but Ghost of Tsushima is still amazing. I won't be complaining.
I'll tell you an old game I like to see come back from the same time period as Infamous. Prototype. I think that could look amazing on next gen.
Prototype. Here's the funny thing with me with Prototype. I'm a bit mixed on it. Actually, it's kind of funny. A lot of people prefer the first game to the second. I'm the other way around. I prefer the second game, honestly.
Wow, you are really throwing out the hot takes today, Elliot. Do you know one of the things that...
just wait to allow our Game Awards.
Oh, God. That'll be in January. But I'll tell you one of the things that I find interesting, though, about the PlayStation presentation at the minute. It's they didn't announce much for multiplayer-focused games. It really feels like that's something that's lacking on PlayStation right now. Like, they don't have something like a Killzone or a Resistance game on there, or even something like Resurrecting Motorstorm.
You know what, actually, I would love a new Resistance game. That's the thought, actually. I would really love a new Resistance game.
Well, don't forget, it was Insomniac who made Resistance.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Oh, yeah, no, I keep forgetting Insomniac made that. So, yeah, no, Resistance ain't happening unless PlayStation give it to another studio.
I would love a new one, but I think they moved on from that.
Yeah, because I think Insomniac's a bit busy at the minute.
Yeah. I mean, Sony has a whole bunch of first-party studios that haven't announced anything new at this thing. They must be working... Like, I'm certain Housemarque aren't really working on anything right now because they've just wrapped up Returnal, but Bluepoint... I'm wondering if Bluepoint's going to be the same deal, considering that they've wrapped up work on Demon Souls, and we do know that Sony has purchased Bluepoint Studios.
In that case, what would you like them to do?
Bloodborne.
Like, what game?
Bloodborne. Considering how good they did with Demon Souls, I would just be going to Bluepoint right now and saying, "Here's an unlimited. How much money do you need to do what you did with Demon Souls to Bloodborne?" And just make that.
You know what, I'll be honest. I wouldn't mind if they did one of the Uncharted games. Like, if they did Drake's Fortune, that would be awesome.
Well, that'd be interesting. What about you, Reese? If you could have Bluepoint remake any big PlayStation hit, what would you want them to make?
Oof. I'd like them to see them take a crack at the original Tomb Raider and not the terrible reboot trilogy.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be cool, actually, yeah.
Since we've had so much Uncharted, and we had the flop that was the Tomb Raider trilogy.
Do you know
actually, I think that there are quite a few like PS1 games. I think they would be cool if they did a remake. Like, I'm still kind of holding out for a remake of Legend of Dragoon.
Do you know what I'd really like? Yeah. Another PS1 classic I'd really like, Dino Crisis.
Oh yeah.
Or Turok, one of the two.
Well, yeah.
Turok released on PS4. Sorry? Yeah, Turok is getting re-released.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's MVG's, the studio MVG works for. Modern Vintage Gamer, he's behind that studio. I know they put them on the Switch recently, the N64 games.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm a little more confident in Sony's position right now, but I'm also kind of thinking, you didn't put a lot of release date on these ones, guys. I'm kind of wondering how many of these games actually come out in 2022, or is 2020? Yeah. I actually
when it comes to like the big games, the only one we have confirmed coming out next year is Horizon
and Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I would say, here's my thoughts on this one. I don't think it will be as quiet as this year for Sony next year, but the one thing I keep hearing from people who say 2022 is going to be an amazing year for games, and I'm kind of like, calm down, guys. These games could get delayed again. Some of these won't make 2022. You're going to have to be... Breath of the Wild 2, I really hope it makes 2022, but it could easily be pushed back to 2023. Like, there's a few examples where I think that's not going to happen. Like, Elden Ring is definitely going to release in 2022. Like, they've announced January. That's not something that's pushed back to 2023. It might get a small delay, but that would be it. it would not. The state they showed it in and the time they released it, that's not coming. That's not going to be pushed to next year. But my point still stands. Not all these games will make 2022. So I think people are getting a bit ahead of themselves.
And even then, honestly, I think the big company to look out for at the minute is Nintendo for next year.
Yeah, like Nintendo's 2022 lineup's looking amazing. You've got already. We'll put Breath of the Wild 2 to one side because we're a bit iffy about whether that will come out in 2022.
Like we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, for example.
Splatoon 3, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, probably Xenoblade 3.
Hopefully.
I mean, I think that gets announced next week in the Nintendo Direct, but don't quote me on that one.
I say if we do get anything, we would just have it say it's in development, like what we got with Breath of the Wild 2.
No, it's close to completion from what I've heard.
Alright, okay.
It was meant to come out at the end of this year, but it's been delayed from what I've heard. This is from, and these are from very credible sources who have very good information coming to them. So,
alright.
So I'm inclined.
I was going to say, because as you all know, all of our uncles work for Nintendo.
Oh yeah, of course. But I will say that the journalists I'm hearing this from are usually 9 times out of 10 on the money. So
the big release for Nintendo next year is supposed to be the reboot for the Super Mario movie.
Oh yeah, the Mario movie that Illumination Pictures is making.
That was for 2022.
Apparently Charles Martinet is hinting that he at least has a cameo in it.
Yeah, well, I think he should because he's been voicing Mario for like 20 plus years.
Sorry,
Sorry,
he's not. Again, yeah, he is Mario.
Yeah.
But
I do have my doubts on it because it's done by Illumination.
Yeah, they don't have a great track record.
I think the best film they made in recent years, outside Despicable Me 2, which I actually still like, is I don't know, The Grinch maybe, and even then that film was kind of eh.
Yeah, they make a lot of meh films.
Just to say, didn't they do Megamind, or was that a different studio?
That's a different studio. It's not Illumination.
I think it's a different studio.
The same art style.
Yeah, very similar. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna. I don't know how PlayStation's future is looking at the minute, but I mean, it looks like it's got a very interesting 2022 if they can get these released out. They confirmed Horizon, they've confirmed Gran Turismo. We're probably getting, we're hopefully getting God of War and Final Fantasy 16. Forspoken will more than likely come out next year, and that looks kind of interesting. And there's a few other smaller titles coming as well. So I reckon they could have a good 2022 if they're lucky and not too much gets delayed.
Yeah.
But if you can, but again, if you compare it with what Xbox and Nintendo are going to bring out next year, they look a lot more confident in what their output will be. So, I mean, that's it for us this time. We are back. Probably the future at the minute will be probably we're back in next week probably because there'll be we reckon there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next week, and
that's kind of like this week, so we don't know. It might be next the end of the month.
I think they'll want to get it done next week because a couple of weeks from now is the Tokyo Game Show. Nintendo's not going to that, and they don't like to compete with other people. They like to be the only talk. So to me, that says. There is a Nintendo Direct imminent, so we'll probably talk about that one. Then we're also probably, if the timing's good, we're going to do a podcast on October the 2nd about the Square Enix Presents at the Tokyo Game Show. We will have an Anime Amigos in a couple of weeks of our best of summer 2021, and starting next month, we're going to take Elliot's idea and we're going to start doing a lot more talks about about games we really like and going to talk about a wide variety of video game related subjects between presentations.
Yep. So
I mean, it's
a 10-hour breakdown on the themes of Xenoblade 1.
Ha!
I mean, it makes more sense. I mean, it makes more sense if we have a gaming podcast to do it a bit more regularly rather than just doing it whenever there's a presentation.
Yeah, I'm already starting to write down some subjects for what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Dope. Fingers
So,
crossed we do one on Elden Ring when that comes out.
yeah, I think we are going to do something like... I think we are going to do Elden Ring and Pokemon Legends Arceus. How did taking franchises that didn't have open... How did franchises that didn't have open worlds adapt to the idea of making open world franchises? Because we haven't had an open world Soulsborne, and we haven't had an open world Pokemon, and we're going to get both in the space of a week.
Well, at least not truly open world. They've been kind of open world, but more limited.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting considering what Elden Ring's going to try and do. So we will see. So we'll be back very, very soon. Until then, keep going good and keep yourselves safe.